Are you seeing any options action in some of these names or in even some of these ETFs?
Yeah, in particular, Brian, it was great having you there because people always enjoy your insights and, of course, your expertise in energy. And what you're talking about is exactly what we've been seeing for weeks now. About 4 to 6 weeks, we've seen the XOP, which is the Exploration and Production ETF, up about 26%, and the XLE up about roughly half of that, 14%. And both of these and many of the constituent stocks that make up those two spiders, if you will, have had huge inflows, both of stock, people buying blocks of stock, as well as options. And I know one of the things we talked about, Brian, was, energy is not just one story. It's basically all of the energy complex. So if you want to trade uranium stocks, those are absolutely just moving up like crazy. Coal up 300 and some odd % over the last 6 months. And that's really putting even more demand on the other types of fossil fuels, because if you can't get enough coal, Brian, then you're going after nat gas or you're going after diesel and, a derivative gasoline. So all of it's moving up.
Coal is the best performing commodity this year, 2021, the year of the fossil fuels, I guess, John. And to your point, the CEO of Aramco recently said, listen, what's going to happen in China, they've got these, coal or natural gas plants. They can convert their input to oil or diesel fuel. I mean, hard to believe, but true. And they think that could boost oil demand by 500,000 barrels a day or more. In other words, we can't get coal or we can't afford natural gas. Let's burn oil. I mean, it seems like this is, 1931 we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is that, of course, MBS, the head of Saudi Arabia, really, by dropping those prices so severely that briefly they went to negative in 2020, he really disciplined a lot of the folks in OPEC that up until then had not been hit with that stick that hard. And that might even include Putin, because his real effort was to get Putin in line. And I think they both benefited when you look a year ahead, because look at the price that Putin's getting for natural gas and various other fossil fuel derivatives in Western Europe right now, Brian. Absolutely exploding. Yesterday we had Schlumberger and Halliburton, people that help you pull it out of the ground, just like Goldman's talking about. A lot of that interest right now is still focused directly on energy and people that can get it quick.
Yeah, so you are seeing some activity there in the options and the equities of SLB and HAL, because, again, we always tell people know what you own. When you look at ETFs like the OIH, they're basically 40% SLB and HAL. I mean, it's a couple of big companies and pretty much the rest are laid up. You're starting to see more activity in those individual names as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Talked about it yesterday on the halftime report, the Schlumberger call activity. And both of them have made some pretty nice moves over the last few weeks, Brian. I think there's a lot more to come there. A lot of the discipline from the shale fields, I think, starts to, some of that discipline probably fades a little bit as we get closer and closer to 90 and pushing perhaps through to 100. I don't know if we can get much higher than that, because I think that just turns the spigot on, pardon the pun. If we get over 90 and towards 100, I think everybody's going to open them wide open.